Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Legend and I am back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. What if Naruto sealed himself for 7,000 years to save everyone? If you guys like the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. The like goal for today's video is going to be 6 likes, but if we could get 10, that would be nice. But without further ado, let's just get into this intro so we can start this what if. The morning sun crept over the treetops, casting golden light through the swaying canopy. Its warm rays spilled down through the branches, bathing the treehouse mansion in a soft glow. Naruto stood still at the base of the grand wooden structure, arms at his side, staring up in silence. The sunlight washed over his shoulder, highlighting the thoughtful expression carved into his face. An hour had passed since his spirit returned to his body. An hour since he'd returned from the spirit library, now burdened with knowledge far greater than when he first closed his eyes to meditate. The wind rustled, and the leaves gently blew above. Somewhere in the distance, birds chirped their carefree melodies, but Naruto's mind was not with them. His thoughts were heavy, tangled in threads of history he'd absorbed. His eyes remained fixed on the treehouse, but he wasn't really seeing it. Azula was the first to notice him. She stepped out onto the front platform, blinking against the light, her blue robe shifting softly with the morning breeze. She spotted Naruto below and frowned quietly. She descended the steps and stepped in front of him, watching his face as he remained still. She waved a hand in front of his eyes. "I'm alert, Azula," Naruto said calmly, without looking at her. Azula drew her hand back and stood beside him, glancing up at the treehouse with him. "What are you thinking about?" It took a few seconds, but Naruto finally turned to her. Their eyes met, and the look he gave her made her heart clench unexpectedly. He looked at her like she was fragile, like she was wounded, like he had seen all the pain she'd buried deep beneath layers of fire and pride. Before she could say anything, Naruto stepped forward and pulled her into a hug, a tight, gentle embrace that caught her completely off guard. Her eyes widened as she gasped softly, frozen in place. His chin rested lightly atop of her head, and his arms encircled her with a warmth that made her chest ache. One of his hands rubbed up and down her back in slow, soothing motions. A shiver ran down her spine. "Azula," Naruto murmured, his voice low and unwavering. "I just want you to know that no matter what happens, I will never leave you." The words cracked something in her. Tears began to well up in her golden eyes, quietly slipping down her cheeks as she pressed her face into his chest. She didn't sob, didn't speak. She simply let herself feel something she hadn't done in years. Naruto gave her a moment before speaking again. "Azula, if there were anywhere in the world you could live, where would it be?" She pulled back slightly, wiping the tears with the sleeve of her robe. Her voice trembled just a little. I don't know. I just want to be somewhere I can be with you, in peace." She looked up at him. "Can I ask what brought this up?" For a while, Naruto said nothing. His gaze drifted back to the treehouse. I just want you to be happy for once," he finally said. "I know you didn't have the greatest past or childhood, so I want to make sure your future is as happy as possible. Azula's breath caught in her throat. She couldn't stop herself. She stepped forward and wrapped her arms around Naruto, hugging him. Her first real hug. They stood like that in silence until the sound of footsteps creaked across the front platform of the treehouse. Azula slowly pulled back as June emerged from the doorway, stretching slightly and looking over the edge. Naruto turned towards her. Azula, can you give us 2 minutes of privacy? Azula narrowed her eyes at June but nodded, giving Naruto one last glance before stepping away and heading toward the back of the clearing. June descended the steps, her usual smirk already forming on her lips. She sauntered up to Naruto, opening her mouth to speak, but stopped cold when she saw the look on his face. Gone was the expression he'd given Azula. Now his eyes were sharp, serious. "Why are you really here?" he asked, voice steady. June blinked, taken aback. Excuse me?" Naruto stepped forward, closing the distance between them. June could feel the heat from his breath on her face now. His gaze bore into her. "You're a semi-trained fighter with a bounty hunter background, someone who spent years surviving on her own, looking out for herself. So why are you suddenly here, trying to get close to me and Azula?" June didn't answer right away. She stared into his eyes for a long while. Then she exhaled. "Even after I said it the first time, you still don't know." She took a step back, placing her hands on her hips. "How obvious do I have to make it for you?" Her voice softened, but her words remained firm. "I like you. That's why. I want to be near you, be close to you. And even if I have to make friends with Azula just to be with you, then I'll do it." Naruto looked away, his cheeks warming. He ran a hand through his messy blonde hair and let out a sigh before looking back at her. Azula returned a moment later, walking up behind him. "If you two have any keepsakes, I suggest packing them up," he said briskly. "I'll be scouting out for a new place for us, someplace far, quiet. We've been compromised by the spies, and they know where we live." Both June and Azula nodded. Without a word, Naruto formed a shadow clone, and it vanished instantly in a swirl of leaves, off to search the world for a safe haven. Then, something overhead caught Naruto's eye. A hawk. It circled above, once, twice, before descending towards them. Naruto's eyebrow rose slightly. Azula raised an arm with the matching look of confusion. The hawk landed gracefully on her outstretched arm, its talons gentle. A small scroll was strapped to its leg. Azula unfastened the letter and began to read, but after only a few words, her hands trembled. The scroll fell from her grasp. Her body started to shake like a leaf in the wind. Naruto didn't hesitate. He pulled her into his arms again, steadying her. Her head rested against his chest like earlier. Her voice came out strained. It's a letter from my brother." Naruto's jaw clenched. Of course. If he had known the spies were going to run off and squeal, he would have dealt with them himself. But now her brother Zuko was sending letters like they were still family, like he hadn't helped break her, like he deserved to reach out. Naruto looked over Azula's shoulder, eyes narrowing. If this was the start of something bigger, they needed to be ready. June bent down slowly, her fingers brushing against the parchment that Azula had dropped. Her brows furrowed as she picked it up and unrolled it carefully. The delicate script caught the morning light, casting faint shadows across the ink. as Naruto continued to hold Azula close, rubbing slow, calming circles into her back. June cleared her throat. "I'm going to read it." Naruto said nothing, but his eyes narrowed. June began to read the letter, word for word, her voice firm and unflinching. "Azula, it's me, Zuko. I know you're no longer locked up in that prison. I also know the only reason you're free is because of your anomaly of a friend, Naruto. I don't know what to do. I'm on the fence of letting you walk free and sending an army after you to put you back into jail. However, I do wish to see you again. The last time I laid eyes on you, you'd lost your mind. But I also hear you're getting better. When you come to see me, I want you to come alone. There will be no games, just two siblings seeing each other after 3 years." The silence that followed was ice cold. Naruto's jaw clenched tighter with every word June spoke. When she finished, he stepped forward, his expression dark and unreadable. He reached out and snatched the letter from her hand without a word. The paper crumpled in his palm as faint wisps of heat began to radiate from it. Then, in a sharp burst of chakra infused fire, the letter turned to ash. Naruto let the remnants fall from his hands and scatter into the wind. His voice, when he spoke, was tight with restrained fury. "Don't believe the bullshit this ass wrote. I can see the lie in the writing. If you go to him alone, he'll throw you back into jail. That's not a reunion, it's bait." Azula didn't say anything, her face buried against Naruto's chest, but the way her hands clutched at him said enough. She was trembling again, but not from fear, from betrayal. Far away, high above the world, the wind howled across the jagged mountain peaks. Snow clung stubbornly to the crags, but sunlight broke through the thin clouds, casting golden streaks across the weathered stone. A lone figure flew silently through the air, cloaked in golden chakra. Naruto's clone, cloaked in radiant power of six-path sage mode, drifted effortlessly through the sky. His eyes, sharp and shining with divine perception, scanned the terrain below as valleys and ridgelines passed beneath him. Then he saw it. Perched near the top of a secluded mountain, half concealed by sheer cliffs and hanging vines, sat a stone temple, ancient, weathered, and serene. It was untouched by the outside world. The clone descended slowly, landing at the worn steps of the temple with near silent grace. The doors creaked as he pushed them open. Inside, dust motes floated lazily through the filtered light. Time had forgotten this place, but its foundation remained sturdy. The temple was vast and hollow, but not empty. It had purpose. The clone moved from room to room, meditation chambers lined with faded wall scrolls, a dining area with an old hearth still intact, all spacious garden in the center of the temple, overgrown but beautiful bedrooms, 6 of them, in a long corridor, each one simple but comfortable. It could house all of them easily. Naruto, Azula, June, and anyone else they might one day trust. It was isolated, defensible, peaceful, perfect. The clone stood in the main hall once more, gazing at the towering statue of an old sage seated in quiet meditation. Then, without a word, the clone dispelled, his mission complete. Back at the treehouse mansion, Naruto's eyes widened slightly. The rush of memories hit him like a wave. Vision, layout, temperature, the feeling, the location of the temple imprinted itself in his mind. He straightened, gently letting go of Azula as she looked up at him with red-rimmed eyes. There was purpose in his gaze now. He knew where they had to go, and it couldn't happen soon enough. He wasn't just trying to keep her hidden anymore. He was trying to keep her safe from those who had betrayed her and those who would betray her again. They needed to disappear, and now they had a place to do it. But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I am out. I am going to write another fan fiction for the next special on the channel. But without further ado, I am out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Stay blessed, y'all.